If a giant company ever comes after something you built, you do not have to fight it. I learned that across the table from the lawyers of Toys R Us in New Jersey. I walked out as their official partner, holding a $10 million check, and it happened only because years earlier, the founder of that company had looked at me and told me no. I am James Bell. Over 50 years, I've built and sold 5 companies. This is chapter 2 of my journey. The 13 years between running a region at 21 and that room in New Jersey at 35. We grew a chain from 6 stores to 120. We took it public. We almost destroyed it with one strategy. Then my partner and I bought the whole company back, and 3 little toy shops in Cape Town turned into a $10 million check. If you have ever wondered how the right moment finds an owner and what it takes to be ready when it comes, this chapter is for you. 1980, they sent me to Pretoria, the capital, to open the inland region for a toy chain called Reggie's. They had 6 stores all on the coast. My job was to plant the flag inland, and that job was every job at once. Find the location, sign the leases, build the warehouse, hire the staff, buy the toys. From 1980 to 1987, we grew Reggie's from those 6 stores to 120 across the country. This was not corporate. It was scrappy, do everything yourself work. The foundation from chapter 1 carried all of it. Best accountant, best lawyer, over-deliver. By the middle of the 80s, the business was sending me to the great toy fairs of the world. Nuremberg, Hong Kong, Taiwan, New York. I was a young man from a small market, walking the floors of the biggest buying events on the planet. 2 things in those years shaped the next decade. First, I saw up close what a category killer looked like. The one-stop toy and baby store. I came home thinking, we can build this here. Second, I worked under a hard and demanding owner. From a boss like that, you learn just as much about what never to do. In 1987, Reggie's went public on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. We were now the largest toy and baby retailer in Southern Africa. Coming out of that listing, we did 3 things. We bought 2 baby chains and built the one-stop store. That move was right. We integrated backward and bought our own manufacturers, and we worked inside the import limits of that era, which sometimes meant buying a business just for the import permits it held. The first move worked beautifully. The second one almost killed the company. Here is the trap, and I want you to remember it. We owned the toy retailer and the toy factory. We owned the baby stores and the stroller maker and the car seat company. The stores made good money, but a factory has to sell to every retailer in the country, not just your own, and our competitors would not buy from us. Why would they fund their direct rival? So the factories began to lose money. The stores had to carry them. The share price suffered. When you own the supplier and the seller, your competitors stop buying from you, and the math breaks. Let me pause for one thing. How to be ready when a buyer shows up at your door is all in my free playbook. The readiness checklist, the documents they will ask for, the things a buyer actually pays for. It is called the Exit Readiness Playbook. The link is right below. 1991, the strategy was failing. So my partner David Bagg and I made our move. We raised the financing. We did a management buyout. We took control of the public company ourselves. And the first thing we did was admit we had been wrong. We sold or closed every factory we owned, and we pointed the company back at the one thing it did best, retail. Within months, it was profitable again. Here is the lesson. When a strategy is broken, most owners try to fix it an inch at a time. They hope the pressure passes. It rarely passes. The strategy itself has to change. What saved us was the speed of that admission. 1992, retail was working again, and I came home from New York certain the future was the Toys R Us format. So I got 5 minutes with Charles Lazarus, the founder of Toys R Us. I told him I run the largest toy chain in Southern Africa, and I would like to bring your brand to my country. He looked at me and said, South Africa? I do not know where that is. I am not interested. 5 minutes and I was out the door. But that no is exactly what made the rest possible. Back in the early 1960s, 3 little family shops in Cape Town had registered the name Toys R Us in South Africa. No link to the American company. They had simply chosen the same name, and nobody had ever challenged it. So I went down to Cape Town and I bought all 3 shops. I rebranded them. I copied the look of an American Toys R Us almost exactly. One thing I changed. My lawyers told me not to use their giraffe, so we made our own mascot, an elephant. Bigger with tusks. We called him Ellie. In 1993, I opened the first Toys R Us in South Africa, then a second, then a third. The business boomed. And then, right on schedule, the lawyers arrived. A legal notice came from New Jersey. They said I was infringing their trademark, and they told me to stop. So I flew to New Jersey. I told them, I do not want to fight. I want to be your partner. My trademark here was registered the same year as yours on the other side of the world. You cannot claim it, but I will trade it. So I sold them the South African trademark for $10 million, and they sold me back the franchise rights for $10 million. The cash netted to nothing, but now I was the official Toys R Us partner for South Africa. Take one thing from this chapter. The deal of your life can come from the meeting you almost did not have. The closed door pointed me straight to the open one. And when someone comes at you in law over something you rightly own, do not fight them. Be their partner instead. The lawyer who writes your warning is the one who writes your franchise. And none of it works without Rule 1, running quietly for 20 years. Best accountant, best lawyer from the age of 12. In Chapter 3, the peak years, the first time I thought about selling, and the deal that put me on a plane to America. That goes live in 3 weeks. The Exit Readiness Playbook with every principle from this episode is free. The link is right below. I will see you in Chapter 3.